Jace and the Four Enigmatic Foxes. Once upon a time, there was an optimist boy called Jace. He was on the way to see his very close friend Nath when he decided to take a shortcut through Ascent Forest. It wasn't long before Jace got lost. He looked around, but all he could see were trees. Nervously, he felt into his bag for his favorite toy, Mr. Hawks. But Mr. Hawk was nowhere to be found. Jace began to panic. He felt sure he had packed Mr. Hawks. To make matters worse, he started to feel hungry. Unexpectedly, he saw an enigmatic fox dressed in a blue top hat disappearing into the trees. How odd, thought Jace. He decided to follow the peculiarly dressed fox. Perhaps it could tell him the way out of the forest. Eventually, Jace reached a clearing. He found himself surrounded by houses made from different sorts of food. There was a house made from lettuces, a house made from pizzas, a house made from sweets, a house made from donuts, and a house made from crepes. Jace could feel his stomach rumbling. Looking at the houses did nothing to ease his hunger. "Hello," called. "Is anybody there?" Nobody replied. Jace looked at the roof on the closest house, wondered if it would be rude to eat somebody else's chimney. Obviously, it would be impolite to eat a whole house, but perhaps it would be considered acceptable to be nibble to the odd fixture or lick the odd fitting in a time of need. A cackle broke through the air, giving Jace a fright. A witch jumped into the spade in front of the houses. She was carrying a cage. In that cage was Mr. Hawks. "Mr. Hawks," shouted Jace. He turned to the witch. "That's my toy." The witch just shrugged. "Give me Mr. Hawks back," cried Jace. "Not on your nail," said the witch. "At least let Mr. Hawks out of that cage." Before she could reply, four enigmatic foxes rushed in and from a footpath on the other side of the clearing. Jace recognized the one in the blue top hat that he'd seen earlier. The witch seemed to recognize him too. "Hello, big fox," said the witch. "Good morning." The fox noticed Mr. Hawks. "Who is this?" "That's Mr. Hawks," explained the witch. "Oh, Mr. Hawks will look lovely in my house. Give it to me," demanded the fox. Witch shook her head. "Mr. Hawk is staying with me." Excuse me," Jace interrupted. "Mr. Hawks live with me. I'm not in a cage." Big Fox ignored him. "Is there nothing you will trade?" he asked the witch. The witch thought for a moment, then said, "I do like to be entertaining. I'll release him to anybody who can eat a whole front door." Big Fox looked at the house made from crypts and said, "No problem. I could eat an entire house made from crypts if I wanted to." "That's nothing," said the net fox. "I could eat 2 houses." "There's no need to show off," said the witch. "Just eat one front door and I'll let you have Mr. Hawks." Jace watched it, feeling very worried. He didn't want the witch to give Mr. Hawk to Big Fox. He didn't think Mr. Hawk would like living with an enigmatic fox away from his house and all his other toys. The other 3 foxes watched while Big Fox put on his beep and withdrew a knife and a fork from his pocket. "I will eat this whole house," said Big Fox. Just watch. Big Fox pulled off a corner of the front door of the houses made from pizzas. He gulped it down, smiling, and went back for more and more and more. Eventually, Big Fox started to get bigger, just a little bit bigger at first, but after a few more forkfuls of pizzas, he grew to the size of a large snowball, and he was every bit as round. Um, I don't feel too good, said Big Fox. Suddenly, he started to roll. He'd grown so round that he could no longer balance. Help! He cried as he rolled off down a slope into the forest. Big Fox never finished eating the front door made from pizzas, and Mr. Hugs remained trapped in the witch cage. Abracha Fox stepped up and approached the house made from sweets. I'll eat this whole house, said Abracha Fox. Just watch. Abracha Fox pulled off a corner of the front door of the house made from sweets. He gulped it down, smiling, and went back for more and more and more. After a while, Abracha Fox started to look a little queasy. She grew greener and greener. A woodcutter walked into the clearing. What's this bush doing here? He asked. I'm not a bush. I'm a fox, said Abracha Fox. It talks, exclaimed the woodcutter. Those talking bushes are the worst kind. I would better take it away before somebody gets hurt. No, wait, cried Abracha Fox as the woodcutter picked her up, but the woodcutter ignored her cries and carried the fox away from under his hand. Abracha Fox never finished eating the front door made from sweets, and Mr. Hugs remained trapped in the witch cage. Little Fox stepped up and approached the house made from dog nuts. I'll eat the whole house, said Little Fox. Just watch. Little Fox pulled off a corner of the front door of the house made from dog nuts. He gulped it down, smiling, and went back for more and more and more. After 5 or 6 platefuls, Little Fox started to fidget in comfortably on the spot. He stopped eating dog nuts for a moment. Then he grabbed another forkful. But if he could eat it, there came an almighty roar. A barn burp louder than a rock taking off propelled Little Fox into the sky. Ah! Cried Little Fox. I'm scared of hay. Little Fox was never seen again. Little Fox never finished eating the front door made from dog nuts, and Mr. Hugs remained trapped in the witch cage. Tiny Fox stepped up and approached the house made from crisps. I'll eat this whole house, said Tiny Fox. Just watch. Tiny Fox pulled off a corner of the front door of the house made from crisps. He gulped it down, smiling, went back for more and more and more. However, on the next mouthful, the food fell straight out of Tiny Fox's mouth. She tried to stuff in another forkful of crisps, but once again, the food fell out. There just wasn't enough room left in her belly. This is not fair, declared Tiny Fox and stomped up into the forest. Tiny Fox never eating the front door made from crisps, and Mr. Hog remained trapped in the witch cage. That's it, said the witch. I win. I get to keep Mr. Hugs. Not so fast, said Jace. There's still one front door to go. The front door of the house made from roses. And I haven't had a turn yet. I don't give you a turn, lauded the witch. My games, my rules. The woodcutter's voice carried through the forest. I think you should give him a chance. It's only fair. Fine, said the witch. But you saw what happened to the foxes. It won't last long. I will, I'll be right back, said Jace. What? Said the witch. Where's you saying so impotence? I thought you wanted Mr. Hawk back. The witch looked horrified. She grabbed her broomstick and placed it behind her. Then, huffing, she opened the door of the cage. Jace hurried over and grabbed Mr. Hawk, checking that his favorite toy was alright. Fortunately, Mr. Hawk was unharmed. Jace thanked the woodcutter, grabbed a quick souvenir, and hurried up to meet Nath. It was starting to get dark. When Jace got to Nath's house, his very close friend threw his arms around him. I was so worried, cried Nath. You are very late. As Jace described his day, he could tell that Nath didn't believe him. So he grabbed a napkin from his pocket. What's that? Asked Nath. Jason wrapped a doorknob made from pizzas. Pudding, he said. Nath almost fell off her chair. The end.